Alright, so I'm making a video for the Frost Inset MDF face frame, and the whole point of this is to go through how to make a double door in a different style of MDF door. So this is pretty advanced, I'd say maybe intermediate level. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you're probably in the wrong place. You can still hang out, but this is for the shops that have already set up the standard Frost Inset, and you just want to do a different profile. So I'm going to set up one of my profiles, the inside bead. You could use this for any other profile that you have. I'm just going to kind of jump into how we're going to create a new double door, and I'll also add in at the end how we're going to make another base end panel, wall end panel, all important things to keep everything cohesive. So first thing we're going to do, I would recommend going into the routed tab and bringing in another door from another library, right? So if I go to my pack MDF doors, I have a bunch in here. I could export and then import back into the Frost CNC library. I'm going to start from scratch. I'm going to import from one of my files, and I'm going to do the inside bead. So I'll click on this one, I click on door files, and I'll just bring in the standard door. Now, if you want to duplicate the original double door, you'll notice that the original style and rail width was 2 1/4. If you're using another profile that has the same combined style and rail width of 2 1/4, you don't actually have to do this. You could just copy and paste the original double door, making sure that the panel recess is the same. So let's go ahead and copy this because our style and rail is different and our panel recess may be different too. We're basically going to create the inside bead as a double door. So we're going to go into the double door, and then I will copy this one. And I'm going to get rid of Mr. Frost naming style. I'm going to keep my classic underscore S008, and then I'm just going to put Frost F at the end so that you know it's a Frost profile. And then I'm going to say inside bead because that is the profile name. Naming is really important. It's a very good idea to get a little bit OCD on your door naming. Otherwise, it's going to be a gigantic mess later on down the road. And then we'll just put double instead of um, door or double door or whatever it may be. We're just going to put double, and that's enough of an indicator of what this door actually is. And I'll say okay. All right, so when you copy a door and it's already edited, you can't just change this panel recess. You can't just change it to 0.313. It may say 0.313, but these pocket depths are frozen. So you're just going to end up with a bunch of bad material on the CNC if you do that. We have to actually reset this. But there's some good information inside this double door that we actually need. So I will click Edit, go to Operations. Now I'm just going to steal this middle operation here, and then we're also going to take the hinges on the back side. So first, before you copy and paste this, you should already have this set up, but just make sure that the toolpath associated with this open toolpath is the Frost 1/8 inch cut through. Got it? I'm going to highlight it. We'll hit the copy button up here. We'll go over to well, we're already in our copy double door, and then I'm going to reset. I'm going to put a mid style in here and actually click on this panel, name it pocket. And this is going to be the same pocket recess. So we're going to put 0.25. And then we need to put our mid style in there. All right, so this part's important. The difference between the shaker profile and the inside bead, our margins were 2 1/4 on the shaker. The inside bead is 2 5/8. So we have a 3/8 of an inch difference. So you'll want to go into here, and I would recommend just going plus 0.375. For the bottom margin, top margin, styles. And then the center rail is going to be twice that. So we'll say plus 0.375 and then plus another 0.375. So we don't have to reinvent the wheel, we just have to add the difference of the style widths. And then I will click on any part of this door, hit edit, go to operations, and then paste that toolpath going down the center. Now we're just missing our hinges. So we'll go back into the original double door right here. We'll edit, kind of zoom out, flip it over. Then you notice we only have 2 of the 3 hinges. So we'll go into the operations tab and I'll just unhide these operations. Don't worry, they will hide themselves after we close this. And I'll highlight all 3 hinges, hit the copy button, and now we can go back to our inside bead double door, click on the door, edit, operations, flip it over, and then paste. You'll notice the 3rd hinge isn't in there, but it really is. It's hidden in the background. All right, so that pretty much takes care of um, creating the double door. Now let's just go into how we're going to make the tool group and how we can create our actual base end panel, wall end panel, and all that stuff. So I'm going to rename this door with the F, just so I don't get confused with my standard doors. Say OK. So this door is fine. It's just a standard door. Remember, we're just going to recreate this entire profile for Frost. We did the double door. That was easy. Now we're going to create our drawer. Do our reduced. Subtract whatever we need here from our reduce. Let's just go 0.375. Yeah, we might need to just go 2. All right, cool. And then we need to make our base end panel. So the base end panel is, we look at one of the original base end panels, everything is just wider by 1.625. That's because the style and rails for our face frames in the Frost library are defaulting to 1.5 inches. You opted to go wider on your style and rails, then you're not going to be adding 1.625. You'll be adding whatever your style rail is plus an 1/8 inch for that reveal. I'm just going to go with the standard one. You could also just copy these and add 3/8 to all of them as well. Whatever floats your boat. I'm going to go here and copy this one. You can do BEP because that's kind of nice and it matches. So the bottom one, don't forget to add your standard 4 inches for your toe. And everywhere else, we're going to do 0.12625 plus 1.625. We'll add that to the bottom, the top, and the styles. All right, so there's our buddy. We got the base end panel. That's all I'm going to do for now. You can figure out the wall and the tall is basically the same thing, except you won't have the extra 4 inches on your wall panels. All right, so we have this one template here. This template is for the Frost shaker with square frame. You can see the frame down here. See the end panel. You can see our double door. Now if we want to set this up for the new style, we've already got our double door done, but now we're going to do our base end panel. So we'll select our doors. You don't actually have a tool group made yet either though. So we have our Frost cut through, our Frost CNC shaker. We need to make the S08. So I'll show you the best way of doing that. If you're bored already, you probably know what I'm about to do, so you can move on or keep hanging out. I'm going to open up the optimizer here. Go to libraries and CNC tooling. Wish they had panel tool group folders in here. That would be amazing. At the bottom, I have all my Frost CNC stuff. So we have our standard pocket, standard beaded end panel. Square end panel doesn't come with the download, but you basically just copy the beaded and delete what makes it beaded. So you can see the square is literally just these two add-ons here. So to create the base end panel, I am going to take a screenshot. And I have that up on my right hand side. It's just whatever the lesser of two evils is. So whatever is less work. In this circumstance, I'm just going to add the two down shears to my other profile. So let's take this one, copy and paste the name. And I already have my inside bead set up. Oh, kind of. I actually set that up properly. Okay, so there's our setup. This is just our standard bead though. We do not want to mix it up with the Frost one. So we really want to just copy this over, right? So this is the F. But if we're doing it right, really want to keep it clustered with the other Frost CNC. Otherwise, we're going to get into just too much. So we'll do Frost CNC. You can come up with your own naming system too. If you prefer less letters, go for it. I'm going to do this. I'll say inside bead. If we wanted to do the beaded face frame for this, you would just copy the beaded face frame one and add in those beads, the 30°. So for this guy here, I've got my other, on the right hand side, I have all the answers to my questions here. So this is the inside bead square end panel. Also just going to make this the regular inside bead for Frost as well. Maybe we'll put an F here. There, now it's all kind of the same. Honestly, the Frost CNC is just, it's too many letters. A little triggering. Okay. So I want to keep everything the same here. I'm going to rename this one, get rid of the CNC. Kind of getting into the weeds now. This is going to be F. There we go. So now we have inside bead, square end panel. The cut through is always going to be the same unless you're getting really wild. And then we have to make this square end panel an actual square end panel. So one thing you're going to notice here is that when I converted this over, I had 1/8 inch down shear in my original tool group, but what we want is the Frost 1/8 inch down shear. Now, you're advanced enough to know that the only difference is really going to be pass depth, then you can do whatever you want here, but I would prefer, to keep the 1/8 inch down shear. It can literally be the same exact tool, it just has different tool properties, and hopefully you've created a Frost Inset tool set to separate this out. Okay, so this is our regular inside bead for standard doors. Now the end panel, I'm going to left click twice here and also change these. Go to the bottom of our huge tool list. Change this out. Excellent. Then we're just going to add in our two buddies from over here. We want them in the proper order, so we'll click on number 3. We'll add a new tool. It'll come in right where we want it. And then we're just going to paste over that information. Well, to paste it, we can do this. So this is super important though. So negative 2.3125. Cool. That would be fine if that was the same exact offset or style and rail width as the shaker, but it's not. Our inside bead, remember, is 3/8 of an inch wider on the style and rails. So we have to remember for this tool, go into the offset and say plus 0.375. Chop it over there. All right, then we'll add our second one. I mean, we're basically on the home stretch at this point. So negative 2.6875. We're going to go 0.375. I have heard some complaints that maybe this is a little too deep, so you could keep it at 1/4 inch, if you don't like trying to paint inside that groove. All right, cool. So we have inside bead and inside bead square end panel, complete naming system. Super happy with that. We got the double door set up. Now let's go back and just make sure it's looking good. So we'll go into our end panels and we will choose our inside bead 125 base end panel. We will also go to the bottom here, find our square end panel for the inside bead. Okay, so now we can see we have our 1.5" style and rail. We have our combined 2 5/8 from here to the inside of the profile, So the base end panel is looking great. And then our double door, it is set up correctly, but we'll just go and chop it up a little bit in here. See if I can find anything else to blab about. We're going to bring in the 2 section and 1 section. All right, so we'll open this guy up. And just as a reminder, same thing. We're going to multiple split, vertical, 2 of them, doors, no style. We'll take the left one, left door, and hinge it left. And we'll take our right door and delete it so we can keep those mounting plates. And then we will override this door, grab our double door, inside bead double, override, make sure that we have the right tool group in there. So we need our standard tool group that we made, Frost S008F inside bead. Looking good. Last thing we have to do is just adjust this thing over. So we'll adjust it this amount. This is kind of a pro tip. Maybe I'll do a different video on all like super pro tips on Frost Inset, but I always put this in decimals to 1/10 of a millimeter so that we don't adjust the wrong distance and have some weird offsets on our frame to our cabinet box. So here we got 16.437. I'll go 16.437. So we got 16 and 7/16. We'll do the negative. Okay. And now we have our double door with the right measurements. So if we go from the front, we should see roughly 2 5/8 from here to here. This one's a little wider. Here to here. 2.609. Close enough for me, right? So the 2.625, we're missing about 15 thousandths or so, is maybe just because we're not connected to the right line. But as long as this number from here to here is the same as this one, which it was, then we're good to go. All right, so that finishes everything up for double door, switching a profile, adding a new profile to the Frost CNC inset frame for the double door and end panel. Pretty much everything you need.